Now, this was the first public appearance in months for Erie County Sheriff John Garcia, and it did get testy with multiple county legislators questioning him about DJ Granville, his chief of narcotics and intelligence, who pled guilty to reckless driving and leaving the scene of an accident. Now, Garcia defended Granville, applauding him for his decision to seek treatment for what he called a mental health crisis. And we should note that he sought treatment for this after he crashed into 7 vehicles on Buffalo's west side last year. Now, at times, Garcia also portrayed Granville as a victim, saying, quote, "I don't understand the vitriol directed toward him," and saying he did not receive special treatment. That did not sit well with all members of the county legislature. A lot of people just want to know fundamentally, why are you protecting DJ Granville? Why not just fire this person?
So, what kind of boss would I be, Charlie, if I took somebody who's suffering from a mental wellness issue that has a stellar career and throw him out in the garbage? Would you want to work for me? This is a guy that comes forward. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to come forward and say, I have a mental wellness a mental wellness issue.
Now, Garcia also addressed allegations that Granville and members of his narcotics unit allegedly staged evidence, conducted illegal searches, and he said those searches were not illegal, but they were unconstitutional. Now, one more thing, Garcia confirmed that Granville has been issued another 24-hour take-home vehicle now that he's back to work as chief of the Narcotics and Intelligence Unit. He said he was unsure whether Granville had fully reimbursed the county for the vehicle that he destroyed. On your side in Buffalo, Charlie Speck, Channel 2 News.
My job as a senator is to get to the bottom and to know facts.
U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand speaking with NBC News last November as Congress heard from former pilots, experts, and people who claim to be government whistleblowers to learn more about the government's investigation of UFOs, now called UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Working with Republicans, she set up a Pentagon unit called AARO for All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to fully investigate such sightings and testimony regarding the possibility of alien spacecraft or even now underwater vehicles. The senator said last week that about half the sightings can be explained as weather balloons or other aircraft.
So that means there's 50% that's still unidentified. That's a highly concerning number. I think we have to continue to investigate all sightings. So we just know what are these UAPs? Are they drones? Are they adversaries? Or is it other? But we need to know.
And then on previous claims of a government cover-up about UFOs or UAPs.
There was something going on at the DOD at some point. There was some reporting on this where they did have people sign non-disclosures agreements saying that they were working on alien programs, saying they were working on programs of alien materials. And so you have hundreds of people who signed these non-disclosure forms. And the non-disclosure form said things like, if you reveal that you're signing this, you are a penalty of perjury or death.
If the government did come out and say, yes, we have alien technology, we've seen it, we've seen these UFOs. I think you indicated some have actually been shot down too. What the concern that would cause panic in the public?
If it is in fact otherworldly, that's very interesting. And I don't think it creates panic. I think at the end of the day, we need to know, are we safe? Like, what's going on in the world? Are our pilots safe? What are they seeing when they're flying? Why do they keep running into drones? Like, these are really important questions.
Sorting this story out is kind of like trying to unwind this. This creek near Fisherman's Town Park annually attracts anglers from throughout the Northeast during the fall salmon run. The town of Newfane cashes in by charging for parking and for rides to and from the prime fishing hole down near the Burt Dam, even to town residents whose tax dollars fund the park, which is kind of fishy to bait shop owner Jason Schultz.
I would love to see that the residents don't have to pay a dime to get in there. It's our town property.
This year, the owner of a section of land along the shores posted it, meaning for now, this is the end of the road, or line as it may be, for the town vehicle. We were unable to reach property owner Sue Fedque, who lives in Florida, but her brother Mike, whose name is on the posted signs, noted the town is profiting by charging for rides through private property. In a social media post he wrote, "My intention was never to cause problems." He suggested a compromise to allow continued access to the property, but only only if the town residents are no longer charged, or as he put it, to do something good for the local residents and make sure they're not the ones being gouged when there's so much outside money coming in. He says when he broached the idea to Newfane Town Supervisor John Syracuse, he wouldn't speak to him due to pending litigation. Syracuse, seen here in another Channel 2 interview, told us the same thing, directing us to the lawyer the town's now hired, who told us he wasn't available for an interview today. But he confirmed the town's intent to seek an adverse possession of this property in which it would seize it due to its continuous, albeit unauthorized, use over a period of many years when the owners never objected, or work out a prescriptive easement, meaning the owners would keep it but grant the town the right to use it. The attorney also said the town is willing to arrange for the Fedque family to be absolved of any liability from someone being injured while on the property.
Fishing's supposed to be about the people, not about money.
On your side in Newfane, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
This is the goal. The goal is to constantly reduce crime where we can.
According to the Erie Crime Analysis Center, new data shows violent crime is down across the board in Buffalo. The data refers to the first 8 months of this year. We've seen a 35% decrease in shooting victims and a 45% decrease in homicides. Leaders from the Buffalo Police Department say they believe the Foot Patrol unit that was launched this summer is making a difference.
A lot of our information is based on some data that we get, 911 calls and 311. And that only tells part of the story. When we get officers out there actually talking and engaging with the community, we get a little bit deeper than that. We get the rest of the story and what's really going on.
I've gotten a lot of calls, and people are happy seeing officers out on the street. And I just think the citizens are fed up. They're fed up with crime. So we're getting a lot of help from them. They're giving us great information, and it's helping us tremendously.
Buffalo Common Councilwoman Zanetta Everhart says she believes this kind of community policing is working.
The more that people see police officers in their neighborhood, the more that the police department is being transparent and open and coming out into the community, the better off a neighborhood should be, because this is their community as well.
Everhart says community leaders are also making a difference.
We have a number of amazing youth organizations who are on the ground, in the schools, in the community centers. They're on the streets, right? And they're providing these programs for our young people, and kudos to them, right? Because this is about them. They're actually connecting with our young people.
Lauren, this 30% reimbursement program is designed to get more New York grown and produced food into school lunchrooms. But as it turns out, only 6 Western New York districts are currently using it. Those districts are Buffalo, Batavia, Forestville, Frontier, Hamburg, and Lancaster, but that's it. When you zoom out to the state level as well, a similar trend. Only 73 or 10% of school food authorities across the state have been approved for reimbursement since this program started about 7 years ago. The comptroller's office found over the last 3 school years, some $21 million was left unused and was simply returned to the state's general fund. I spoke with Assemblymember Karen McMahon about this.
Is that going to change the calculus, you think, going into budget season this year, or is this more so going to lead to a push to get more districts signed up?
Hard to say what's going to happen with the budget this year because there's so many variables. But yes, there's been $10 million allocated every year, and somewhere between $2 and $3 million of it gets reimbursed. So there's always been a big cushion, really. There's more opportunity there if other schools either become aware of it or if it's made a little easier for them to participate.
McMahon was surprised to find out that not one school district in her district was using the program. The comptroller's office said the #1 barrier that districts listed was bureaucracy, paperwork, and red tape, like having to separate lunch expenses from their overall food expenses. The comptroller's office has made a number of suggestions, like clearing up that red tape and also expanding the program to include breakfast and snacks in school districts. McMahon has sponsored a bill that would do that the past couple years. We'll see if there is progress made on it this year. Reporting on your side in the newsroom, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
We'll fly up over this structure that's kind of this taller structure that's right in front of us, and we're actually going to be inspecting the one that's on the backside of it.
John Thies and his co-workers got the drone up to inspect a 230 kV structure at a substation in Niagara Falls this afternoon.
Just looking at the insulators, capturing pictures of them for our asset management team.
That team will look for damage. It's an easy way to gather the images without the crews having to go into potentially dangerous situations.
This drone also takes thermal pictures too, so if there was a hot spot or anything like that, we'd be able to see that.
This is routine maintenance, but the drones are also helpful for storm damage.
If there's terrain that's just very difficult to get a truck or get people into a certain area, it's easier to fire up the drone, get out there and assess the damage, and then be able to have somebody look at those photos and videos and determine what needs to be done. Again, it's a time saver, helps us to be more efficient, keeps our folks safe.
This afternoon, they came away with a lot of good photos, and after a first look, no damage.
Just captured pictures of the insulator strings for asset management. To me, they look to be in pretty good shape. We'll have to get them back to the computer and look at them in a little more detail to see if there's any damage or anything that they might need to take a look at. But ultimately, it's there. We're just capturing the pictures and capturing the imagery, so it's really up to the folks reviewing it to determine if there's any action that needs to be taken.
Anne-Marie Frankfurter of Syracuse was nervous when we spoke with her before Hurricane Melissa hit. She and a friend are on vacation in Ocho Rios at the Sandals Resort in Jamaica.
We could actually see, the wind gusts and everything like that. It was intense at some point. The back end of the storm was the worst for us.
While we spoke on Zoom, she pointed out that many of the buildings that were boarded up for the storm, the boards are now coming down.
They're taking down the stuff behind me. It's really loud over here working, right here behind me.
Many tourists are still in Jamaica hoping to get out soon. We've been following a local bishop on social media. Bishop Larry Boyd of Buffalo is in Montego Bay. His flight on Thursday has been canceled. He's hoping to get out on Saturday.
We don't know what's going on with the airports. We heard Montego Bay got hit pretty hard. Roof caved in, I guess, in the old part of the airport. So I've been talking to my travel agent, and she's trying to find out some more information. We were told here once they have information, they will give it to us, because right now everyone's assessing damage to see. There are 2 other airports. We just don't know. We don't know if we're going home tomorrow yet, hopefully, but we have no clue. It's still too early.
Not to be forgotten are the resort workers who live in Jamaica. Hearing from them puts this in perspective for vacationers.
They were scared. They kept it together, though. This morning we talked to a lot of them that were really still nervous because they couldn't get a hold of their families. But then when we went back to the room and then came back up, a lot of them have been in touch with their families. They're safe. Their houses are destroyed.
I think disappointed is the best word to describe all of this.
State Supreme Court Judge Mario Jacoby presided over both Bell-Rang cases. Back in October of 2024, Jacoby ruled the first case had been filed too early. Then, in the second case, Jacoby's decision was that this case was filed too late.
The perception was made that we didn't file in a timely fashion, so it was dismissed.
Unfortunately, it's very hard for someone to sue a government. In New York, we have a very short statute of limitations. It's only 4 months. Other states, you actually have a year or more.
Paul Wolf is an attorney and a good government advocate.
The second lawsuit was dismissed as being late, and the judge really didn't get into the merits. The first lawsuit, the argument was made that you filed it too early. So, it's really a crazy situation to be caught in.
Judge Jacoby offered almost no opinion on the merits of Bell-Rang's claim, which includes alleged violations of state public officers law. You see, the North Tonawanda Common Council in September of 2024 voted to give the city's towing contract to another company, United Towing. Abstaining from that vote was council member Joe Levy, who works for United Towing. When elected officials abstain from a vote, state law requires them to disclose any conflicts of interest and submit them in writing to the city clerk. Levy never did.
How could it not be not political? It's also election season. How is it not political?
With Election Day approaching, Bell-Rang's legal battles with the city have become political fodder. Councilmember Frank DiBernardo, a Republican, put out a news release last week including several factual errors, one claiming in part the mayor ignored the process and tried to make a unilateral decision. Democratic Mayor Austin Tylik says the facts could not be more simple.
The police chief, my office, followed the charter, the proper RFP procedures. It's the council, with their inaction and later improper actions that led to these lawsuits. And with 2 weeks to go into the election, they're really playing politics and shifting blame.
So does this mean you're giving up?
Absolutely not. No. I said from day one that I feel that we were in the right. And I said from day one that I was going to fight. And I will fight until I can no longer fight no more. And we're fighting. And we're going to keep fighting.
During his recent meeting at the Vatican in Rome, Bishop Fisher said his message to the Pope was simple.
Well, that it's essential for us to emerge from and to be hopefully moving forward with a sense of hope with the people. You know, we've got a lot of things going on, the restructuring of the diocese as well as the Chapter 11, but the road to renewal, it was hopefully about us trying to look at what resources we have and to move together as a people of faith.
Fisher said he met with Vatican officials from the Dicastery for the Clergy, which recently accepted the petitions of local parishes who are appealing the Chapter 11 bankruptcy settlement contributions.
How do you defend that plan given that response by the Vatican?
Oh no, we dealt with basically looking at the process and how we're moving forward with the process. And they encouraged us to continue to do that. There's always going to be questions of clarification. And that's really what this was all about. It wasn't getting into any of the specific cases of the parishes.
I asked Fisher whether he understands Catholics who have felt emotions like betrayal at the abuse scandal, anger at church closings, and disappointment in how the Road to Renewal plan was carried out.
What is your response to Catholics who feel that way?
Well, when I first arrived, if you recall, the Road to Renewal was, and the Chapter 11, they were all just getting off the ground. The Road to Renewal, I actually put a pause on it for a number of months because I felt that there hadn't been enough consultation. So I went around all the different vicariates and in consultation, and then came to this, we have to move forward with this. We don't have the resources, we don't have the priests, and in some cases we don't even have the people in the pews. So a restructuring had to be done.
The bankruptcy settlement, it seems like there is a tentative agreement. Mm-hmm. Are you disappointed that it has taken 6 years to get to this point and that there are survivors now who have passed on before this could happen?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I wish we could have settled it the first year, but we have a very complex situation in that we're not only restructuring, but we're also trying to bring some restitution and healing. I see healing, and I've shared this. I really mean this as a bishop. That's one of my number one priorities is to bring healing to the victims and those who have been abused, as well as our people in our parishes, our clergy.
Congressman Tim Kennedy and area Democrats came together today to call on Donald Trump and Senate and congressional Republicans to continue the SNAP program. On Thursday, Congressman Nick Langworthy said, quote, "The president cannot legally fund programs that Congress hasn't appropriated. Democrats have a choice to make, to stand with needy American citizens or continue prioritizing benefits for illegal immigrants. I voted to keep the government open with a clean continuation of funding, and I hope Senate Democrats come to their senses before more Americans are hurt by their partisan games." I asked Congressman Kennedy to respond.
People are going to be kicked off of their insurance, and people are going to go hungry because this administration and congressional Republicans that are enabling him are making an inhumane, cruel, conscientious decision not to use the resources available, the $5 to $6 billion in emergency funds, to allow the nutritional assistance program to continue.
And while politicians on both sides of the aisle continue to point the finger at one another, Kennedy said that Republicans are unwilling to come to the table to negotiate. On your side, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
I'm standing right outside JP's Pug, where the owners tell me that no child should ever go hungry, and with the potential SNAP benefits cuts coming this weekend, he is promising to step up and feed families in need.
It all started with a Facebook post from manager JP Mellis. Since then, he's already helped dozens of families preparing hot meals daily for anyone who asks. Sometimes it's pasta, other times it's pizza and wings. The menu may change as the weeks go on, and the community is responding too. Neighbors are calling and asking how they can pitch in, but Mellis says he doesn't need help, but instead,
this all gives some inspiration to other people to help open their doors, look out for their neighbors, donate time or finances to food banks across Western New York, then I'm happy to be that spark for the community.
Coming up, I have more on this story, plus the message JP's Pug has for the rest of the community. On your side in Lakewood, I'm Alexandra Rios-Malvia, Channel 2 News.
If you're just looking at the numbers, since June 25th, one day after he won the Democratic Party primary, Senator Sean Ryan has raised more than $304,000 in his mayoral bid. On the other side of the aisle, Republican James Gardner has raised more than $354,000. However, in the case of Gardner, $343,000 of that was in-kind donations from himself, an almost completely self-financed campaign. And both candidates had remaining funds in their campaign coffers from previous elections, so when you look at the expenditures for each candidate since July 1st, Sean Ryan has spent more than $247,000, and Gardner has spent more than $403,000. As for independent candidate Michael Gaynor, he told me in a text exchange Friday night that he raised about $5,000 in the latest filing period. I recently sat down with the three candidates and asked them what sets them apart from politics as usual. Here's how they responded.
I don't owe anyone anything, which means I can go into the job and say, this is what needs to be done in order to make the city better, to improve, to make it more livable again. I don't care that that's Timmy's cousin who's always had that job, or Aunt Peggy who's always been employed by City Hall. Those days are over. We frankly can't afford them any longer.
And I've learned how to prioritize what problems I want to look at and how to measure the resources you have. Can you tackle that problem? Can you tackle it and make it better? So I am convinced that I'm going to be able to bring all these skill sets and all my experiences to City Hall, and that's what sets me apart from any other candidate in this race. I've been in the public sector, I've been in the private sector, I've been in the government sector, and each time I've achieved very good results.
It's about a culture of care that invests in each neighborhood and invests in each neighbor. And we do it through these big transformational projects, and then we share it with the world. And we invite other people to be part of it, because that's how we address our long-term stability as a city and a municipality, is by having more people here to contribute to the health of our communities and the vitality of our community.